Hey guys, welcome to the Gray State and this episode of It's Pocket Dump Day. It's one of those videos that they've been popular for the last couple of years. They kind of went away. I think they got overdone just a little bit, but I finally got to the place where I've been asked quite often about what do I carry on a daily basis, what gun do I use, what ammo do I use, and I thought in typical Gray State fashion it might be a little bit more interesting as you guys get to know me just a little bit better. Maybe do a little series on it for those of you that do or don't know that I do work in public safety. And I thought it'd be kind of interesting to show you what I carry on a normal everyday off day like today before I go to the range and just kind of light things up. And then also what do I carry, like what I call my slick load at work, and then what do I call my more tactical load. So I'm going to do a 3-part series. This is going to be the first one. This is my day off, just an off day, and I'm going to show you what I have in my pockets and that kind of stuff, and we're just going to go from there. Okay guys, so with that being said, before we get started, I do want to cover off on some, just be completely transparent. So all of the stuff that I'm going to be showing you is my personal stuff that I've chosen to use. None of it has been sent to me. I'm not endorsed. I haven't received any compensation, anything like that. There are going to be name brands being spat out. So I want to be completely clear on that you guys are seeing, that you understand what's going on there. And then secondly is because of the industry that I'm in, my profession, I do get some discounts directly by dealing with some of the manufacturers, and I will let you guys know exactly what those are when I get to those. I won't disclose any of the prices or anything like that to keep it intact and fair, but these are well-known publicized programs for people who work in a duty capacity, and I do take advantage of those fairly often as they were designed. So let's get started. So first and foremost, before we get started, I guess I should say, I like my trailers, my little intros to my videos, and you guys saw there. Before I even start anything on my day, whether it's an off day or a duty day, I do like my coffee. And for me, I drink it straight, and I do drink Black Rifle coffee. I do like the mission behind them, how they were started. Their videos come out, let's face it, they're funny. So this is gonna be, in case you haven't told, this is gonna be more of a vlog style kind of fun video as I just kind of explain some of my everyday going-ons. But anyways, yeah, Black Rifle coffee, I do love. Silencer Smooth. Today I'm drinking Freedom Fuel, and I do like caffeinated as F. Little side tidbit here, you guys may or may not have noticed, but I never swear in my videos, and that's on purpose. I like being kid friendly. I don't like having parents making that decision for them on what words that they hear in videos that they choose to watch. I want parents to be able to make that decision and swear in front of their kids as their own right, not one that I've chosen for them. And then secondly, if you guys want to watch these videos at work, I want to make them work friendly. I understand that, right? Not everybody can watch them at home all the time, and sometimes you just want to kick it back, sneak one in. So I want to be friendly to you guys. And then finally, there's also some local gun stores that run my channel in the background just as something fun. I don't receive any kickback for it. They just want something that they know that there won't be any swearing on, so I honor that. And that's generally about it. But yeah, in real life, I swear like a mother. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you guys were wondering. But that's the reason I'm telling you about this, is because I didn't say caffeinated as, you know, it's the one with the ace of spades. You guys get it. And then finally, I also like Battlefield to Backcountry, the Cryptek collaboration blend with Black Rifle Coffee Company. Really like the stuff. The mug today, for those of you guys on the West Coast or stationed out in the Pacific, it's from the ABC store. So yes, the touristy store on Oahu. That's where this is from. I got enough points last time I was there to earn a mug. Fair and square. All right, so let's talk about my pocket dump. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is gonna be the first part of this series. Today's my off day. I'm just gonna walk you guys through. You guys are gonna see a lot of things in this video, and you're gonna see how it moves over, and I use it in a duty capacity, and that's kind of the intent behind this thing. So first and foremost, my pen. I'm actually creating a video for this right now. You guys will see more in depth in this. Maybe I'll put the link into the end of this one depending on where I'm at in the production of it. But for right now, I do like carrying my own pen for a number of reasons. One, I use them at work all the time. Two, it's one of those things where at work I get to the point where I'm not a germaphobe per se, but I like to make sure that I'm not putting myself in contacting nasty that I don't need to make contact with on a daily basis. And little life coach lesson here. You know, if you guys may or may not have heard this, but menus at restaurants are one of the things that have the most fecal contaminants on it that you can touch on a daily basis. Make sure you hold them at the corners, not on the sides. Pro tip right there. Keep the poop off your hands. And with that being said, doorknobs, door handles, pens that people give you to sign things are totally have tons of germs on them usually. And then also the other place that I will never pick anything up is like at a cell phone store, where you get, like, you pick up the demo phones, you just know those are nasty. So every kid that ever touched his nose and picked his butt is probably picking up that phone. So I don't touch those. So pens, one of those things, I use it on a daily basis. I like this one. You'll see in the review if you choose to watch it. It's a capless design. And interestingly, it's made by Hogue, the same people that make all the grips that we love, the scales for our pistols. They also make rifle parts, they make holsters. They also make knives and pens. And this is part of the Hogue Knives subdivision, but it's a Hogue pen. So speaking of that, we'll move on. It's not a Hogue knife. It's a Benchmade. And it's an out the front Infidel with D2 steel. Yep, D2, nothing super crazy, no M390 or S35B or anything like that. The reason I have an Infidel is I actually use this on an everyday capacity. It's not a safe queen. I know they're expensive, but here's where I'm going to be honest. I do get a direct deal from Benchmade, being part of the military law enforcement first responder program that they have. So I do get them at a reduced rate, but it is industry pricing. All right. So with that being said, you guys can see here the coating's wearing off. I do use it on a regular basis. I might choose to get it Cerakoted here in a little bit. If you guys have good Cerakote ideas for knives, let me know. I'd love to hear it. But I like the idea of an out the front automatic for what I do at work, and it keeps one hand free. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details, but Benchmade Infidel with D2 steel, very practical knife. It's the one that's issued to a lot of our military folks, and I use it all the time. Next thing, keys. All right, so I don't carry a fancy flashlight like my normal, like a Fury or a Surefire backup or anything like that. What I do carry, or a Streamlight or any of those kinds of things, or a Phoenix or a Olight. I've got a little Surefire Titan right here. It does a really good job. And for what I normally carry, I might just on a keychain for a pen light, it does a fantastic job. It's got a AAA battery in it, so I don't have to go searching for something crazy. Other things on my keys, I do have some paracord. I've got all my RFID entry badges for different places at work and things like that. I don't have to dig my keys out often because it's got one of the fancy keyless entry, RFID keys. Like everything's RFID these days. We'll get more into that in a second. But of note, I do carry a pair of handcuff keys on my personal keys. Little tidbit. All right, staying on my right side, your left, I'm going to go to my wallet. And speaking of RFID, I do not have one of those fancy Ridge wallets or anything like that. I have a Coach wallet, regular old black leather, in black, of course, that I've had for probably a decade now, and it still looks the same as I got it 10 years ago. So I just use a regular old leather wallet. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on some of the RFID stuff. I know there's those new tactical slim lines like the Ridges and stuff like that are even made out of Kydex or carbon fiber, yada yada. Let me know your guys' thoughts on them. I've been looking at them, and every time I go to look at one, they're like $70 or so. A little less if you get the less expensive ones like on Amazon or something like that. But I never pulled a trigger on them because I always think about, man, I like keeping this in my back wallet or my back pocket. If I go to one of those Ridges, I don't know how it's going to hold up in back pocket use. I know a lot of people come up in the front, but I've already got stuff in my front pocket, so let me know your thoughts on those. All ears. Put it in the comments. Contact me on Instagram at Gray State Medic via DM or in comments there. I'd love to hear it. Next thing, speaking of medic, in my front left pocket, I usually carry 2 sets of gloves. One of them I've kind of unwrapped already, so you guys, just for the purpose of this video, so you guys can see them here. All right, they're black. I normally have blue ones, and I've got a rubber band around them just as another thing to have in my pocket. I like blue for blood sweeps, and I like black for looking tactical. Gloves are one of those things I usually have them with me based on my profession. I come into contact with people, bloodborne pathogens, just nastiness in general. People know that. If I'm at my son's baseball game, my nephew's basketball game, or just come across a everyday, accident somewhere and somebody needs some help, I like keeping myself protected. That's the purpose of PPE, personal protection, and keep myself from the nasties of everyday life. And sometimes I might just be actually doing something like I need to change my oil or go under the hood of my Jeep or something like that, and I don't want to get grease all over me before I go into work and that kind of stuff. I'll just throw a pair of gloves on, and I've got those too. It's always a nice option. So gloves are always on me. And then finally, here in my front left pocket, I generally always have my phone. It's an iPhone 11 Pro. Yeah, I'm an iPhone guy, not Android. And for me, I've been on Apple for a long time now, but what I really like about it with the 11 Pro is it gives me a really solid camera. Obviously, I shoot a lot of video. So I like having that option with me with a quality camera at the ready all of the time. Other than that, it has normal cell phone functions, nothing crazy. I am on FirstNet. So for those of you guys who first responders or in public safety, or you have the ability to do it and you qualify for FirstNet, I would check it out. I'm just talking personally here. I did it. I saved a bunch of money, and it puts me on a dedicated network. Some of the towers section, some of the towers out there still, I might drop a little bit, but as far as going through buildings and things like that, I've noticed a noticeable improvement And I think the more first responders that we have on FirstNet will only help and strengthen that network. And it's through AT&T. You do get price breaking for it, but you do have to qualify, and they do check on a regular basis. So if you qualify, it might be worth checking out. So no ad pay, I'm not paid, nothing like that. I'm talking all personal stuff. Speaking of FirstNet, they also let me bundle, so my watch. Because I'm on an iPhone platform, I do have an Apple Watch. This is a stainless version, Series 4, I think they call it Series. It is the cellular version, so if I leave my phone or I forget it in the truck or I'm on post or something, I need to use phone capabilities, look like a total dork talking Star Trek style, I can totally accomplish that via my Apple Watch. So very cool, but it also lets me do things non-discreetly, like check messages, things like that, while I might be interacting on a scene, things like that, and not have to pull my phone out and look like that guy. So watches are great for that. So a little bit of tech, I do carry an Apple Series 4. And last but not least, in my back pocket, I also always carry a tourniquet. I can't stress enough the importance of having some level of very no compromise bleeding control available to you. Make sure you go with quality. Either like this is a Cat 7 from North American Rescue. You can also go with something like a soft T wide. The important thing is make sure you know how to use it, right? Get appropriate training, practice. If you do practice with a North American Rescue, the windlass on this is plastic. It's not designed to be used over and over and over again. That's maybe why a soft T wide might be better if you're trying to figure out how to do tourniquet deployments and stuff like that with the metal windlass. But nonetheless, always make sure you have one of these. I have one of these on me. This is my minimalist approach. Usually when I'm at the range or I'm at work, I have much more available to me. And also in my vehicle, I usually have more available to me. So now let's look at some of the other cool stuff. All right, so next up, we're gonna cover some stuff that is EDC, but I don't necessarily have in my pockets, okay? So first is gonna be sunglasses. I'm a sunglass junkie. I like a lot. I have Oakleys, I have Ray-Bans, I have Smiths, I have all kinds of stuff. For me, at work and play, I tend to gravitate towards Oakleys. I brought 3 pairs out here. I have numerous pairs. The reason I have numerous pairs is because I'm part of the standard issue program through work. So it allows me to get these at industry pricing. Some of them are no frills, just very basic eye protection or sun protection when you think about it from that perspective. But then you can also do some cool custom stuff. This is not Chicago Bears. It's not New York Mets. It's nothing like that. It's a set that I made up for a pair of duty glasses for a specific thing. It's got my call center, my medic number in the corner here, and it matches some colors. So I had these made up, I don't know, early beginning of the year. They had a special where they were free shipping, 2-day price. It was amazing. They take care of us, so I reciprocate and I make sure that I use their products. And you guys, you've probably frequently seen them in my videos. I'm usually wearing some Oakleys or potentially some Ray-Bans, but for the most part, Oakleys, they're light, they're functional, they do a great job. Both of these are photochromic, which means they're like, back in the old school, you call them the tints. They'll change colors on you. I like that from a work perspective, but then it also just translates over to normal every day. Sometimes I'm out shooting, sometimes the sun comes out, sometimes the sun goes away, sometimes I'm shooting videos. They just work for me, so that's why I rock these. All right, now let's talk blasters. I think that's what you guys were really asking about, but I had to do the whole complete EDC thing just for the sake of doing it, all right? So my number 1 carry is my appendix carry. Now I will say there's nothing in the chamber here. I have cleared it out. I've made this demonstration ready, okay? So it's loosely a Gen 4 Glock 19 that I have basically tucked in a Raven concealment idle on here that I've had for a number of years. I've probably rocked this setup for probably going on 4 years at this point, but there have been some alterations and permutations of the firearm itself, and I know there's some discussion about whether or not you should carry a customized firearm as your number 1 concealed carry. I'm not going to get into that here. I've chosen to do it, and let's take a look at it. So I'm going to unholster it. Okay, Raven concealment Eidolon, great holster, absolutely love it. The claw, the way it tucks, the ride height is all adjustable. You can really get a good fit on it. All right. The firearm itself, like I mentioned, is loosely a Gen 4 Glock 19. The reason I say loosely is because about the only thing that is a Gen 4 Glock on this thing is the hand grip. Everything else is Franken Gucci, and it's a mix of agency or Zev parts. So let's start at the bottom at first. Mags, I use standard Glocks or mags, or Magpols, excuse me. Ammo choice is Hornady 135 grain plus P. I've also used Spear Gold Dots. I've also used Federal HSTs. I've also used Spear G2s, and I've come back to the Hornadys. It's the new FBI load. My testing, it works across all of my firearms really well. I can have interchangeability there. Ballistics wise, it does a good job. And my own testing, you guys have seen some videos on it. I've had no problems with it. So I do the Hornady 135 grain plus Ps. All right, clear. Again, nothing in the chamber. And let's go from the bottom up. So I've got an Agency Arms flared magwell, Glock Gen 4 grip that I've basically done a lot of cutaways to. I haven't done a stipple job on it, but I've done some contouring because, let's be honest, Glocks feel like 2x4s in your hands when you get them from the factory. And I do qualify for the blue line discount, but this was actually not a blue line Gen 4. And because I've taken out the trigger, so it's a Zev trigger, the slide is a now discontinued Zev Spartan that's got some cutaways up here in front, some lightning, but heavy serrations, very aggressive serrations. Up top, it's got a Trijicon RM-R06, Trijicon night sights with suppressor height loading, so I get a full true co-witness on it. And then my barrel, I'm running a Agency Arms. At the time they called it level 3, but I think they call it Prestige now. That's got the 919 marking. It's a stainless 5R barrel rifle. It is considered match grade. All the internals have been basically tore out. It's got an upgraded recoil spring guide rod setup, and it's got all of the trigger work is all Zev stuff that I've done myself, and the back plate is Agency Arms. I told you it's a Franken Glock. So this is my number one. I've used it occasionally on videos in the on the channel, but I tend to keep it more of my personal firearm. That is, it is what it is. All right. So generally a Glock 19 with Federal 180 135 grain plus piece. Then my backup is, this is going to be kind of interesting. I'm sure I'll get some discussion on this, but it's a SIG 365 XL, completely bone stock. It's got the flush mount mag in it. And I do use, of all things, people have asked about the holster. It's a Glock 43 holster from G-Code that is the Haley Strategic branded Incog. And it seems to hold the 365 just well. It covers the trigger. It has a little bit of jiggle in it, but it's tight enough that it actually just works fine. And so I haven't really picked up a 365 holster yet, but it covers, like I said, it does everything just good. And then for backup, I guess I should say here too, I've also got the same Hornady 135 grain plus P. Like I said, it goes cross platforms for me. I'll pull that out. Don't need to see the holster. Again, free and clear. And then in my other back pocket, I carry a 15 round emergency mag for the 365 XL. All right. So that is the toward the blasters. Other things I can tell you, you'll see some of the stuff move and transfer over to my workloads, but that was really it today. I've kind of gone through everything that I had in my pockets. I don't carry that much on a daily basis. I try and keep it practical and useful, and things that I would use at work at the same time so that I have that familiarity and it just kind of translates over. So that is really it for this one. I didn't have a whole lot. I just wanted to kind of kick off this series of 3, get ready for episodes 2 and 3, where I go into my workload, my slick load, and then my tactical load, my carrier, and all that kind of stuff, and kind of go down that path. But for right now, that was it. Hope you guys found this entertaining. I know I've picked up a few more subscribers. You guys have been asking for it. Any other questions, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can DM me there at Gray State Medic. I've already mentioned that. But I do want to kind of throw it out there. I do like the bi-directional conversation. Comment on this one, like, subscribe, hit the notify button. Even a couple of you guys have told me that the notify hasn't been working for you. I checked everything on my end. It looks like it's all set up. You might, I think under YouTube, you can also, under the notify, you can say, make sure that I get notified for all the content that I publish. So you might want to double check that so that you guys aren't missing anything. I know some of you guys have come back. I totally appreciate that. And said that you haven't been getting notifications, but you had to look me up to see, only to find out that I've been putting more content out recently, which I plan to keep doing. So that's really it. Hope you guys like this vlog style. Give me some feedback on it. Let me know what you think. Other things that you might like to see. I'll talk about coffee. I can talk about beer. I can talk about smoking meats, all the things that I like doing. And there really is no end to it. So that's it for this one. Until next time, guys, until episode 2, stay safe. Time to hit the range.